Over the last few years, Chicago has improved in providing services for and addressing the needs of people with disabilities. But Shockman says share ride programs like Uber and Lyft don't. One of the top consumer scams of 2013 was mortgage fraud. Steve Papich visited the Illinois State Building to file a complaint with the Attorney General's office. Hello and welcome to the special sports edition of Medill Reports. Nikita Foston begins the show with a look at boxing for women. It's helping women get in shape one punch at a time. Last week's Chicago Boat Show had record attendance at McCormick Place, a trend that vendors here at Strictly Sales Chicago hope to see over the weekend. Schools are called off again, leaving some kids with cabin fever.
We knew he needed to get out of the house, 2 days in the house, and he was climbing the walls. There could be no more video games, no more screen time, so it was time to get him out.
We stayed at home all day long with his little brother and they went crazy. We watched movies, we played.
This is the fourth time Chicago Public Schools have closed this year, and parents felt like something needed to be done about it. That's when We Got Game partnered with Chase Park for the first ever cold camp. Go!
So last night we were thinking about it with the advisory council, and we said, let's reach out to our partners and see if we can provide space, if they can provide staff.
We Got Game, a local youth sports program, stepped up to the plate last minute and were quickly surprised by the large turnout.
I get a call from him and he said, hey, do you think we can get about 10 kids together to maybe run a camp? I said, hey, why not? Let's shoot an email out and try it. And before you knew it, we had 40 some kids here at Chase Park.
The coaches at the cold camp kept a rotation of games going on, like floor hockey and basketball, so kids can get a taste of each sport.
Because boys need action. They cannot be at home for 3 days straight, and it's a great opportunity for them and for the moms to have a break.
Vickers is happy to leave his son at a place where he can be active and have fun at the same time.
We got game. We got my back today because it perfectly worked out. It worked out really well.
Organizers of the park say that if CPS closes again, there may be a cold camp too. Brian Ayala, Medill reports. World Business Chicago and Google co-hosted an afternoon discussion with U.S. Commerce Secretary Penny Pritzker in front of hundreds of CEOs and executives. One of the key concerns revolves around the digital infrastructure in Chicago.
For our part at the Commerce Department, we deployed more than 100,000 miles of broadband since 2009. And I know Mayor Emanuel is championing the fact that your efforts to lay more than fiber optic cable throughout the city, and I think that's phenomenal.
Mayor Emanuel started the Broadband Challenge in 2012 to improve wireless accessibility to public parks and spaces, thus enhancing the city's economy.
We now have 40,000 people working in the tech sector. We started 2-3 years ago with 30,000. No other sector's grown this big.
The only way you can access internet at a park is if you have a mobile device. But by the end of the year, there should be Wi-Fi connection to use one of these.
We have provided free Wi-Fi to 2 major parks in the city as a first step to break the digital divide.
Google will also fund the construction of the network in Garfield Park and cover the maintenance bill for 3 years. Local residents view this new plan as a big step forward for their neighborhood.
I think it would really help out the community because they would come out here to play basketball and they could work out here, enjoy the view of the park and the water. It's pretty nice out here.
There's gonna be a lot of people up here now. More people coming together and stuff. A lot of people like Wi-Fi. Everybody loves Wi-Fi.
Monica's excited for future park visits with her kids so she can get on Instagram and Facebook using her iPod Touch. Reporting from East Garfield Park, Brian Ayala, Medill reports. Hi, and welcome to this edition of Medill Newsmakers. I'm Brian Ayala. U.S. Soccer Federation has made youth academies and local organizations one of its priorities to increase the profile of American soccer and create the next generation of world-class players. Joining us now is Neil Beathy, Director of Communications with U.S. Soccer. Hi, how's it going today, Neil?
Good, thanks for having me.
So Neil, after watching this, do you think the U.S. Soccer will possibly host a match, between former national players?
I don't think so now. I think we're more concentrated on the current team, and obviously, as you mentioned in the piece, we've got the...
Neil, just hang around with us for one more segment. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about Major League Soccer and the impact it has made on American soccer. Stay with us. The American Outlaws chartered 3 767 aircrafts for members to travel to Brazil. That's about 5,000 miles flying. Well, what about driving? How do you cross the Panama Canal? Well, this group from Chicago, known as World FC, is making that road trip. But they're not going for the World Cup. They're on a journey to promote the game they love. Joining us now is one of the founding members of World FC, Parker Heaps. Thanks for joining us today, Parker.
Thanks for having me, Brad.
Well, I think everybody watching wants to know where did this crazy idea come from and why?
Well, the idea has actually been in plans for a long time now. Roughly about 2 or 3 years we've been wanting to do something big like this.
Unfortunately, I know we're running out of time, but I do want to leave you guys on this final note. What's your take on the importance of the U.S. team's performance at the World Cup in Brazil? First, I'm going to start off with ESPN stats analyst Matthew Whittingham from our conversation a few weeks ago.